Ladies and gentlemen, live from Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977 is Wednesday or Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for AEW Dynamite or Collision Event Center. And now here's the man that will bring you the happenings of AEW All Elite Wrestling action, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans, 1977, episode 2579 of the show. How's it going? October the 1st, 2025, 10:54 p.m. We're almost done. I'll tell you one thing. October is here, ladies and gentlemen, and believe you me when I say this, that when the fall comes, it's going to come. But right now, it's still a little bit, it cooled down today, but, tomorrow might warm up again. And, I'll tell you one thing, this weather going back and forth. And before you know it, we got Crown Jewel in Perth coming up a week from this coming Saturday. You got Halloween Havoc 2 weeks after that. And the Insanity. And November the 1st will be Saturday night's main event, I do believe, and that's John Cena's final match. And I'm telling you, this is a crazy deal, man. Wrestling is a crazy deal. Professional wrestling, crazy deal. Anyways, so the Young Bucks were decided to kick it off by cutting a promo for 6th Anniversary of Dynamite. And looks like Nick Jackson, who decided, they said they'll get back with an entrance, and a great entrance to celebrate the 6th anniversary. They said, we're the founding fathers. So he said, I'm going to go and pitch the idea and see if they can go for it. And so Nick Jackson Brandon Cutler, still, hey Brandon, keep taping this. I got an idea. I'm going to double arm out. I'm like, oh boy. He hit the casinos and basically blew all the money. And then Matt Jackson's like, what are you doing? What's no money in here? And then it turned into a trios match of a trios match and the Young Bucks are already in the ring, and the jobber enters and says, account $0.00 and the broke bucks. Hey, you ain't the big bucks no more, Young Bucks. The whammies took all your money. The broke ass Beavis and Butthead, that's for sure. Anyways, and they should do that for the next, little graphic there. This year it said this week it said the broke bucks. Actually, you should put for the Young Bucks when they had their own jobber enters, Beavis and Butthead. Because that's what might be, Beavis and Butthead. They always smile and do all the laughing. And, So Kenny Omega and Bro Dito, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Brody King, and the Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito, faced Josh Alexander and the Young Bucks. And Don Callis was on commentary until he got too close to the action. Kenny Omega chases him away. And Bro Dito and Omega won the match. And then Kenny Omega, addresses the crowd. And actually, Omega was attacked by Josh Alexander afterwards. And then Jurassic Express comes out, takes out the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks were sitting there looking stupid. And then Omega addresses the Hollywood, Florida crowd about 6 years of Dynamite, thanking all the fans and all that. And he said, I know we still got a show to do. So I did bid you adieu, goodbye, and I bid you adieu, mwah, and goodbye, bang. And he said, when after the bang part, the lights went out. So, anyways. And then when the lights went back on, some masked dude was in the ring, and then he took off his mask. Andrade El Idolo is back in AEW. I think this is the first time ever, and Andrade is the first person to go from AEW to WWE, from WWE, AEW, back to WWE, and back to AEW. And he's the first time ever on somebody has done that. It's like, you know. And then Andrade attacked Kenny Omega. And then Don Callis approaches Andrade slowly, and the two shook hands. And Don Callis' family's got another member. Andrade El Idolo. That's Andrade will be rejoining. Will be joining up with the Don Callis family. Meanwhile, Mark Briscoe addresses MJF, and he says that he'll be in the ring celebrating Roger Cassidy if he wins the title. But you think Don Callis' families ain't they're not going to just end there. Trust me on this one. TNT title line, Kyle Fletcher and Orange Cassidy went at it. Kyle Fletcher defending the TNT title against Orange Cassidy. And Orange Cassidy was about to get the upper hand, and Don Callis tried to get involved. Here comes Hologram, so to speak. And then as Hologram supposedly chases Don Callis away, he pushed Orange Cassidy off the top rope. I don't know what the heck happened. And so Kyle Fletcher took advantage of that, wins the match, retains the title. And then as they were attacking Fletcher, and this Hologram clone was attacking, here comes Paragon and Mark Briscoe. And then as both the Hologram and Fletcher escape, and then it was revealed that is not Hologram. It's the clone of Hologram, El Clon. And basically, he's joined up with the Don Callis family. Boy, Don Callis has gathered kind of an army. They'll make the NWO version of the Hollywood black and white with Hulk Hogan blush on this one. They have a great. He's got an array of international talent. Let me tell you, got to give it up to for Don Callis to do that. But Andrade and El Clon joining up, which had Cesaro and the rest of Rocky Romero, Lance Archer, and Josh Alexander, and Kazuchika Okada, and Konosuke Takeshita. This, that stable is growing, and if I were people in AEW, I'd be like, somebody got to stop these guys. So, yep, El Clon and Andrade were the latest additions to the Don Callis family. Well, when Nate Paquette interviewed Mercedes Moné, she said, I know you got the TBS title. What about the 10 belts situation? And what about the AEW Women's Tag Team titles? He said, I don't know who I would choose my partner. And then the Moné puppet came out of nowhere, and guess who's the owner of that? The lovely, the gorgeous, and the curvaceous and babylicious Harley Cameron. And Mercedes Moné trying to tell her to knock it off and stuff. Oh, I love Harley Cameron. Come on. The trios match of the Ops and Hangman Adam Page champions. Ops Trios champs, Hangman Adam Page world champion, against the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, Daniel Garcia, and Claudio Castagnoli. Heck of a matchup. In the end, Ops and Page won. And then as Hangman Adam Page grabbed all the belts, he handed the trios title to the Powerhouse up. And when he pushed tried to hand the Samoa Joe the other trios title, it fell, and then Samoa Joe was a little upset, and he thought, Hangman Adam Page was disrespecting him. And then all of a sudden, Samoa Joe starts arguing with Hangman Adam Page. Afterwards, security had to separate these two, and they all came to blows. So we'll see what happens there. Then Jet Speed Will Nightingale dresses FTR and Stokely as Kevin Knight prepares to face an FTR member this coming Saturday in Collision. Special start time at 7 o'clock. And meanwhile, FTR and Stokely responded to Jet Speed and Nightingale. Renee Paquette interviews Hangman Adam Page after the match was won, and he issued a challenge to Samoa Joe for the title at Wrestle Dream. Timeless Toni Storm, the lovely, gorgeous, and curvaceous and babylicious Toni Storm, dressed up in her white Dick Tracy hat and coat, as she faces Ty Mello one-on-one. Tony Storm ended up winning the matchup, and then Ty Mello addresses Tony Storm before the show on social media, issuing Tony Storm to a match. Storm accepted and ended up defeating Ty Mello. Then she addressed the Hollywood, Florida crowd after the matchup. She said, "I need to do this one more time. It's Chris Statlander. I'm challenging you." And you made the time and the place. I just need to know who I truly am. Meanwhile, Renee Paquette interviews Sammy Guevara, who's addressed Eddie Kingston as Eddie Kingston is getting ready to face Dralistico. It's Saturday Night Collision. Kingston, along with Hook, responded to Sammy Guevara and Dralistico. Renee Paquette interviewed Samoa Joe about Hangman Adam Page. And Samoa Joe basically accepted Hangman Page's challenge, so that match is made official for the world title. Hangman Adam Page, Samoa Joe at Wrestle Dream. And GOA went up against the Swirl, and Ricochet joining on commentary, and Samoa Joe and Hangman and Page are going to go at Wrestle Dream for the championship. GOA went up against the Swirl. It's Big Shotty Lee Johnson and Blake Christian, while GOA is Bishop Khan and Total Leona. And it was a heck of a matchup. GOA ended up winning the matchup as Ricochet joined on commentary. And then they decided to attack the Swirl after the match until the Hurt Syndicate arrived. And they just challenged them basically to a straight-up street fight. We'll see if that makes official. Renee Paquette interviewed Chris Statlander, and then while she was talking, Harley Cameron with her Monet puppet, once again interrupting her. And then Chris goes, "Why don't you stay here? I'm going to take care of business." And Harley Cameron understood. Then Alicia 2 interviewed Don Callis, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kazuchika Okada, and they're thinking about next Tuesday to challenge Brodito, possibly for the AEW World Tag Team titles, Okada and Takeshita. And both men doesn't seem too pleased about that decision by Don Callis, but Don Callis is trying to confident it'll work out. And then the mixed tornado tag match, it was Darby Allin, Chris Statlander went up against Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. And there was a heck of a matchup. And at one point, Marina's feet wasn't full of never had boots, but Marina Shafir's feet went on attacks, and she was in pain. But Darby Allin and Chris Statlander took advantage of the situation. They win in the matchup. And then Tony Storm comes out to confront Statlander, and Tony Storm looked at Statlander and smiles, and then they started went at it. Security tried to separate these two. And then Darby Allin whips Wheeler Yuta after the matchup, and then Pac attacks Allin using the same belt that Allin was using on Yuta. And then the rest of the Death Riders come out, and to make sure that Allin does not escape, and Jon Moxley accepts the challenge. He said, "You stand no chance against me at Wrestle Dream, because you're never going to make me say the words, I quit." Because they're going in an I quit match at Wrestle Dream. So, that is it. That's all the time we have on this show. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2579. Tomorrow we're going to play some Pressure Luck afterwards, and then we're going to go from there. So, and then we got Rant and Rave. And the whole gang is back together a week before Anniversary. So, So, that's all the time we have on the show. Thank you for tuning in. And until next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode of the show. This is Mr. Announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 19. 1977. A Big Beefy E and Do It for Bob Saget production, and in association with A Raving Bull for 3000 Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. See you later on the next episode of the show. Goodbye for now.